Hi, my name is Paul Sotheby, and I want to kind of take you on a journey of what I've seen over perhaps the past 30 years or so in the economy, in uh, my industry, and kind of give you a kind of a viewpoint that, or just kind of a history that you might want to think about in making your decision on whether to get involved with an magic or not. Okay, let's start out many years ago. Um, I wanted to be a salesman. I just really thought that was where you'd make the most money and everything. And it's just kind of this long journey, but it didn't work out for me for a lot of different reasons, which I won't go in for the two right now. It's just a little complicated. But I ended up going back to school and getting a technical degree. And this is like 28 years ago, and maybe even longer than that, and probably more like 29. And I got into a company that I was so proud to be involved with. And it was an electronics company, one of the big companies in Silicon Valley. The CEO was a crack up. I mean, it was just, he was the funniest guy, fun to be around. Had a top 10 list of stupid things that other companies were doing, and it was just fun to listen to. But, along that, see, when I went to college, what we had back then is we had these big IBM machines. And these IBM machines, you had card punchers, they were about this big. You'd program on them, you'd give your cards to the computer, and the computer would spit out the results. And you had all these jobs. There was one computer, one. Okay, there was no personal computers back then at all. And so that was the introduction, and so there were search engines, and the internet started to come out, and Mozilla was created. A guy created Mozilla, and then Netscape came along, and it was just like I remember being in my company and wishing I had a 56K modem. U.S. Robotics, remember that company? And my boss eventually bought one, and it was so cool to be able to go in at 56K baud and be able to do things from home on the computer. Uh, awesome, awesome. It was awesome. And I kind of looked out into the future. I said, when are we going to have, faster speeds? I mean, then along came DSL, where you basically took two modems, put them together, and you doubled the speed. And but I was wondering, when are we going to get faster speeds? And here we are today. The broadband is, just about everywhere in the United States of America. I mean, it's just like phenomenal. So I've been around to see from nothingness, where all you had were AT&T lines, to now, Comcast, cable. It's just phenomenal technological advancements. But during that time, there were a number. I ended up in Mountain View. Okay, I ended up in Mountain View at this company, and it was such a relief. I felt like I was around a bunch of professional people that were willing and open to share their knowledge, because I think we all realized that what we were working on was so complex that we needed each other. So from a professional standpoint, I really owe a lot to the people who shared with me, how to be a success at this company. Thank you to all of you that were gracious enough to share your knowledge with me. So, but I remember driving along, and there was this company right next door to me. And it had the funniest name. And I kept wondering, like, what is that? What is that? And we had an intern, he's going to college, an intern. Hey, you know what that company is next door? And I said, what is it? Well, go online and check it out, basically, is what he said. And wow, So I went online, took a look at this funny name, and I looked at their kind of like their business model, and I said, will this ever fly? I mean, really? I mean, I had seen other companies, other uh, things out there that were similar to it, and I said, well, I thought to myself, well, good luck. I mean, really, it was Google right next door to me. Ah, well, we had a gentleman there, and he was older than us. He was more privy to, keeping track of what was going on in the technology world. And he told, years later, I found this out, he told one of the engineers there, he says, you should go over there and check out what's going on. And so she told me she went over there, and what she found out was she found out a bunch of people there that they were older and they were all into databases. And she had no training in databases, so she didn't really pursue it. And I didn't pursue it much because I looked at them and I go, good luck, because I've seen other search engines. A big search engine back at that time was Alta Vista. And the thing about these search engines, they gave you no real value. I mean, it was like you could search the internet, but it was like it didn't give you the information in an easy form. It didn't anticipate what you wanted. It didn't give you. It was, and I didn't realize that Google had a completely different philosophy. So, I kind of put them out of my mind. Well, we know what happened with Google. Now, the question I have for you is, you're thinking this, you may be thinking this right now. Well, golly, if I'd been back there, I would have seen Google. Really? Okay, well, what opportunities are you seeing now that maybe you are completely discounting, and you will not participate in the financial proceeds, the financial blessings, because you don't see it? I mean, a lot of people, let me tell you some other stories. A lot of people back then were presented with opportunities, but they didn't have the vision to see the future. And the question I have for you is, do you have the vision to see the future? Are you paying attention? Okay, let me give you another example. Well, while at this company, we were making computers, and we made this, the latest and the greatest computer that we made. I was basically, I don't know the complete story, but basically there were these two students from Stanford that was using our machine to build a website. And they were using our latest machine. And so they invited them to come and talk about what they were doing. And so I came over there and, see, who are these people? What are they doing? And so they gave their little presentation. I go, wow, that's kind of cool that they're using our machine to build their site. Okay, yeah, maybe I should keep in contact with them. Maybe I should maybe invest in their company if they ever get a company or whatever's going on. Maybe I should, but you know what? You know what I was thinking? I was thinking, well, man, I got a lot of work to do. I don't have much money now to invest in their stuff anyways. So, and I got so much work to do. And I kind of put it out of my mind, but I kept wondering, I wonder if I should find out where these guys are. I got too much to do. It was Yahoo. Yahoo. Okay. Wow. So, one thing that you might want to learn from this mistake is that, you need to live a lifestyle where you have extra money around you to make investments when they actually come. But I didn't understand what these people were building. And because I was so bogged down with just the routines of my job and daily life, I never gave myself the time margin to actually look into what they were doing and, to pursue it. See, my philosophy of work at that time was to put in a tremendous amount of hours to prove to the people around me that I could do the job. That was my method of success, so to speak. And so if you choose to do that same method, I'm just giving you a heads up, a warning that you need to give yourself some time margin to investigate other things, other ideas. Not everything that will be invented has been invented yet. There are things out there in the imagination of people's minds that they just haven't brought forth yet that you may be able to have an opportunity with. Now what's interesting about this is I was right next to both of these phenomenal opportunities, and I missed it. They happened in my backyard. Okay, so they didn't happen on the East Coast and eventually work their way to the West Coast. They happened on the West Coast, right in my backyard, and I didn't see it. Now, you've seen some of the reasons why I didn't see it. So, let me tell you, I was like, wow. So I was telling somebody else this story. I was in a choir, and I told, man, I really missed it there. Then he told me this story. He says to me, Paul, there were these guys that came up to me when I was at a company, and they say, hey, look, there's this new company. We're all putting together $5,000. We want to invest in this new company. You want to get in? And his attitude, his mindset at that time was, I want to be a singer. I'm going to be a singer. No, thank you. My future is in being a singer. Now, he is a good singer. I've seen him on stage. I enjoy his singing, but that never panned out for him in the way perhaps that he wanted. And when he told me the company, I just like shook my head. It was Microsoft. Microsoft. Okay. It's like, wow. So I'm on this email alias, and I mentioned, how I missed some opportunities. I think I was on an iPhone alias at a job, and this guy privately sent me back email. Oh, let me tell you about my story. And he said, well, there was this little company, and they made this little product where you could balance your checkbook. Okay, and I remember that. Now, this is back in the days when you had floppy disks. For those of you that don't know what that is, it was like a little square disk that you put into a computer, and it had about 1 whole megabyte of data that you could actually put on it, and you would build programs that would fit on that small of floppy, and then you'd buy floppies and you'd load different programs on or whatever. But this one was for balancing a checkbook, and I think I saw that too. And then he told me who it was. It was Intuit. He never got involved of TurboTax fame. It's like, wow. See, what I'm telling you is stories of people who were presented with phenomenal opportunities. It was right in front of them, but for whatever reason, they couldn't see it. I think I was exposed to Intuit also, the balancing the checkbook, and I said, I think my attitude was, who cares? Who cares, man? Who cares? I can balance my checkbook myself. What do I need a computer program for? Wow, huh? So these are some of the stories of that I'm passing on to you. I mean, that when you are presented with a new idea, okay, don't be so busy that you can't even explore it. Try and have some money someplace, that you've been saving up to invest in an idea, and really just keep your eyes open. I think a lot of us, go through life. We have this kind of like plan. We project our life out into the future, and we say, I have this plan. This is what I'm going to do with my life, and I will ignore everything else around me because this is the plan and this is what's going to work. Okay? And unfortunately, if you have that kind of a mindset, that you might miss, the biggest opportunity of your life. And you know what? It may not come back again. You may miss it again. It may not come back again. And even if it does come back again, does it come back again in your own backyard? I mean, or does it come in some other part of the country, some other part of the world, and by the time it gets you, you can't take the financial, you can't get the full financial blessing out of it if you'd gotten in a little bit earlier. So when I look at Enagic, to me, it has a phenomenal, huge opportunity. And in future videos, I'll go more into that. I look at this and I just go, okay, wow. It's a company that I've invested in a lot of different businesses over the years, and most of them were relationship oriented type businesses. They didn't go to work out for me for various reasons. And I think I'm at the point in my life where I'm going to, I think I'm going to take another look at this, because the Enagic business is really about building relationships and about helping people to get out of a mindset that will, it's kind of like blind spots. Help people to get out of their blind spots so that they can take advantage of a phenomenal opportunity that's right in front of them. But maybe they just don't see. They don't see the future. So my question is, I think I'm seeing the future with Enagic. And I would invite you to explore it and see if you see the same thing I'm seeing and that others of us are seeing. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.